Hello there, everyone. Just checking if you can hear me okay. Please type yes or no if you could or could not hear me, please. Excellent. I've seen many yeses, so that's a good start. All right. Good evening, Australia. Good morning to those joining from Europe, and good afternoon to those joining from Africa and Asia. And welcome to International River Foundation Emerging Water Professional Mentoring Program webinar. My name is Van Nisap, and I'll be your host for the webinar today. So first of all, I would like to thank all of you for joining me today, and special thanks to my mentor and coach, Coach Walter Lincoln Arians, for joining us today as well. Let me quickly introduce our agenda for today. We will start off by a quick introduction of ourselves, followed by introduction to the IRF, EWPP, the mentoring program and its structure, your expectations, the mentor and mentee story, tips, resources, and also we will end up with more question and answer at the end. Because of the time limited, I would not be able to invite everyone to join via audio, and for the purpose of the record quality, I will only unmute you when required. And best way to communicate is to type on the chat box. So let's give that a try now. Please type in the chat box to give us a bit of information on who you are and where you are joining us from. So start off from me. I'm Juan. I'm the EWPP coordinator for the International River Foundation, and I'm joining you from Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Great, so we're just waiting a couple more. All right, so while everyone's still typing there, I can see a lot of the amazing emerging professional joining for this. That's excellent. And it's such an amazing to see so many people from all around the world is coming to join this webinar on that Sunday. You definitely deserve an ice cream after this, or maybe ice cream plus chocolate. I will volunteer to buy that for you if you come and visit me in Cambodia. That's the deal. How about that? Great, so welcome everyone. All right, so let me give you a quick introduction to the IRF EWPP. So the Emerging Water Professional launched last year in September in Brisbane during our International River Symposium. And really, the Emerging Water Professional is for anyone who has less than 10 years working experience in the water sector, and also in the river management and restoration. So people from any related discipline are eligible to participate, including those with the backgrounds in science, policy, planning, community, private sector, governance, aid, development, economy, marketing, and many more. So last year we got supported by the Australian government to launch our program, and we had about 61 participants from 16 countries. And after the event, we got a strong request from our participants that they would like it to be an ongoing program rather than one-off event. So following up from our launch, we now able to start up some ongoing activities. And that's also including 2 key activities that we have started. The first one is called Spring into Action, and that's the seed funding to support emerging water professionals to put their ambition into practice and working together with an emerged professionals. And also the second activity is the mentoring program, which you're joining right now. I also have the privilege to be working with a group of emerging water professionals. One of them is joining us today, Likando, to develop the emerging water professional program that would be best beneficial to our members and also the sector. And we're still welcoming more volunteers to help us with this initiative as well. So that is a quick summary of the program. And now let's move to the topic of the mentoring program. So what is the mentoring program, or what is mentoring? To give you a bit of an introduction to that, I would like to show you a short video.
Really big difference between a job and a career, which is a journey we all embark on once we find a field that we're intrigued by. It takes you to places personally and professionally that you may never have expected. As we move on to new levels, we require skill sets that we may not be able to tackle all on our own. That is where mentoring comes in. Mentoring gives a blossoming professional a bigger picture of how their skill sets will help them in their career. The benefit of having a mentor is that they serve as a sounding board. The mentee feels that they can be honest about their place in their career and confident that they have a place to go if they have any questions or ideas. And the mentor? Well, they feel validated that their time in their own career has been of value. Mentoring is at its best when facing an unexpected challenge or deadline. A weekly review is especially helpful for these situations. You two can take about 30 minutes at the end of every week to review about your progress. It'll be a great time to discuss how Dane is feeling so far.
Like a huddle.
Close, but in this huddle, make sure to give constructive feedback and use open-ended questions to help her if she's stumped on something. By arming Dana with your insights, she'll be equipped to overcome any unexpected challenges. And finally, a solid mentoring partnership with a teammate can benefit the mentee and the company because it builds loyalty. Studies show that in companies with mentoring programs, mentors were promoted 6 times more often and mentees were promoted 5 times more often.
I like those numbers. All right, Mr. Racket. Do not disappoint.
When can we start? Now? Okay.
So that's our quick video just to introduce you to the idea of mentoring. That's a bit more relevant to the company context, but overall it still applies to more or less the same or similar principle. So before we move on, I would like to ask you to quickly give us a bit of an idea about your experience into the mentoring program. So if you can join me with this poll, which I'm gonna bring up right now. Okay, if you can just let me know by joining this poll by clicking on yes or no, that would be highly appreciated. Great, so majority of our participants haven't joined the mentoring program before. So hopefully this webinar will give you some more ideas about how to go about it and how to maximize the benefits from this program then. Excellent, thank you for that. And I just want to ask for the 2 that mentioned that you have joined before to share a little bit on your experience and basically, what did you get out of that mentoring relationship? Can I have a hands up for a volunteer who would like to then be unmuted and share their insight into what they get out of the relationship? Mitch? Definitely. The floor is yours, Mitch.
Am I on?
You are on.
Well, I just wanted to say that I'd been in a mentoring program as the role as a mentor in several programs actually, but I haven't actually been the mentee. But if you'd like me to provide what I've got out of being a mentor.
Yes, please.
So I'll use, for example, I've been a mentor at the university that I am in. I've actually gone to training for what makes a mentor. But I understand that it's the biggest role and the benefit is being able to support someone with their own ideas, that you're not providing coaching or anything, but you're just there to say that yes, you're on the right path, just to support them. So as a mentor, I'm sure that it's gratifying to be able to show. I'll leave it there.
Great. Thank you very much, Mitch. Walter, you have your hands up as well. Would you like to add a quick remark on this? Hi, Walter. Yes.
Hello, I'm Wouter in Manila. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, very loud and clear.
All right, I actually had to restart my computer because the sound wasn't working well. So now I'm glad that I can hear you all and see you all as well. Yes, I've been also studying mentoring programs in my previous job, and I find it a very rewarding and empowering relationship. And it does take some reflecting on how you do it well and how you set it up well, and after setting up also how you continue from there. So for those of you who don't have experience yet, it's something in my experience that's very worth exploring, and I acknowledge Van and all of you for getting together today to do just that. How's that, Van?
That's great. Thank you very much, Coach, for that.
You're welcome.
Right. So now, thank you. So now let's move on to our next topic, which is to give you a little bit of information about the EWPP mentoring program. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, this is one of our ongoing activities under the EWPP. And basically, we want to set this up as an informal program or activities, if you like. So we're not going to go about saying that you have to do this, you have to do that, this is the duration. That's not the intention we have. So basically, we trust in your commitment between yourself and your mentors and your mentees on how to make this relationship work. But by saying that, we do like to check in with you every now and then to see how your relationship is going, if there's further support you would require from us. So all of you would have received the agreement, the mentoring agreement that we asked you to sign and return a copy to us. So thanks to those that already did that. And I look forward to receiving the agreement from those who haven't sent me yet. So basically how it's going to run is that we have now finished our matching process. We have done the introduction, between you and your mentor or between your mentor and mentee. So that's been finalized. And then we have also encouraged you to then start making the first contact or the communication. And also we have sent you the agreement for you to then send it back to us. And now we are in the next step where we have run this webinar to give you a little bit more information on how to go about this mentoring relationship to get the most benefits out of it. And what we will do afterwards is we will follow up with you after 3 months from today to see how you're going. We will have a quick, short online survey to send to you so that we can have a better idea and also understanding of how is it going and the area for improvement. And after that, 6 months afterwards, we will do another follow-up again to see the overall progress and also the overall performance of this relationship. And that doesn't mean that you have to end your relationship with your mentor or mentee. We encourage you to keep going if that's worked well for you. So that's entirely up to you to decide within yourself what would be the best way for you to continue on with your relationship. So that's a little bit about the structure. So it is very informal. And again, I would not go into details in terms of what are the benefits for the mentors or the mentees, the responsibilities and the accountabilities, because we already have that in our concept note, which we already shared with you. If you haven't received that, please get back to me and I'll make sure that you get a copy of that as well. So I guess the next thing I would like to talk about is really to get an insight into what do you want to achieve in this program. So if you could share with me some of your thoughts in what you expected to get out of this mentoring program by typing on the chat box, that would be great. So I'll give you a few minutes to have a think about what do you want to achieve in this program, and then I'll ask for 1 or 2 volunteers to then share with us your thought. That's great. So we have quite a varieties of the answer there. So we have people that looking for guidance toward the future career development, motivation, knowledge in the river management to build their soft skills. Can I actually ask Mark? Are you there, Mark? If you could join us in voice, if you can, to share what would be something do you hope or do you want to achieve in this program? Did you click on the little microphone icon at the top of the window? While we're waiting for Mark to try that out, do we have any other volunteers who would like to share what they would like to achieve in the program? Put your hand up if you wanna come up, unmute it, and then give us a chance to hear your sweet voice. Great. So we have one volunteer. Unmute. The floor is yours. Okay, let's see if we
Hello.
can hear from you. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, this is Mahmoud from Brisbane. It's a rainy
Hello,
day here.
Mahmood.
Hi. So from this program, I want to build leadership quality in me, and I want guidance from my mentor for my career development, for personal and professional development. Hello.
Thank you so much for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. And are you able to give us a little bit of your background as well, Mahmood? What are you doing and where are you from?
Yeah. Basically, I'm a civil engineer. Then I'm from Bangladesh. I started my career in mid 2011. It has been almost 5 years. So I am doing my master's in integrated water management. By the start of July, I will be done with my master's, and I will return to Bangladesh and join my organization. I will be working in urban water sector, and let's see what else I can add into my basket. Thank you.
Did I hear correctly that you will be finishing your master next month?
Yeah, by next month, yeah.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing an insight into what you would like to get out of this relationship, Mahmood. Thank you for that. Mark, would you like to give it a try?
Yes, I think I'm online now.
You are.
Okay, what was the question again after all that mucking around?
So the question was, what do you want to achieve in this program?
it's more about what I can help others achieve, really. I mean, I've been in the industry 20 years now, and in the urban sector. So it's really about, like I've written there, is just sharing my knowledge, and if I can give people shortcuts, if they're willing to listen and use those shortcuts. There's a lot of different aspects to working in urban water, particularly for people coming overseas as well. And I have got a lot of experience, not just technically, but also in soft skills, so in management and employing people. So hopefully I can give a few tips on, what people should be probably bending towards if they want to get work in this sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Great, so now I'm going to move on to the story sharing. This is a bit awkward, but I'm actually going to be sharing my story about my mentoring experience. And my mentor is actually here with me today as well, so no pressure. Right, so there's 3 things that I would like to share with you. The first point is on how I actually met my mentor, or Walter, who is here with us. First time I heard of the term mentoring and mentor was actually back in 2014 when I was starting my master degree in integrated water management back in Brisbane, Australia. I had one day leadership class, and I remember very well that the whole day I heard the term mentor over and over again. So at the end of the day, I couldn't help but ask my lecturer, where do I find a mentor? And then he introduced me to the International Water Center coordinator for the mentoring program, whose name is Brian. So I met with Brian, and then he introduced me to Walter, who accepted to have a chat with me. So we had our first Skype on the 17th of April 2014, and after about an hour's chat, he asked me what did I think about it, and I said, well, we laugh at each other's jokes, so that is a pretty good sign that the relationship could work. So that's how I met my mentor. And the second point that I would like to share with you is some of the highlights in our mentoring relationship. There are actually many highlights. And first, I think for me, the first highlight was when we finally met in person last year in Holland. And really nothing beats the face-to-face, and I really hope that you get a chance to meet your mentor in the future if you are located in a different location. And to me, that's meeting him for the first time in real life is really lifted up our relationship to the next level. And also, when I was going through a time when I was really lost in my passion and everything to me was so dark and empty, I wasn't really know what's going on, what am I doing and where I want to go. So there's so many question marks running in my head and absolutely don't know what to do with my life essentially. And he was there for me, giving me support to get me through. And also another highlight for me was that he often makes me feel valued, and by that I mean he always gives me the opportunities to engage in his work, like sharing my thoughts on his ideas, his papers, to even co-host with him in the leadership webinar sessions and so on. And that to me is not just a challenge for me to push myself out of my comfort zone, but also it's really empowering me to do more of the not just what I already doing, but also expand my horizon and my network to step out into something that is bigger. So that's really my highlight. And the third point that I would like to share with you would be what I think makes this relationship a memorable or successful one. I would say that it is really because of the way we clicked, and we could feel that from the beginning, and to me that is very important, your first impression, if you like, when you first start that contact and when you initiate that conversation. and also the way that we both committed to the relationship. He is always on time, and he also gives me the time that I ask for. I also make sure that to honor and respect the time and the commitment that he's giving to me. I always make sure that I'm well prepared before I go into the session. So normally I have a list of topics that I would like to discuss, and also making sure that I'm ready to include him an update from what happened since our last communication. I also have I actually developed quite a detailed list or note of what we have touched on each time, the resources that we have shared. And that to me came in very handy now that I'm starting to take on the role of a mentor myself. So if you thinking about the future where you might become a mentor yourself, that might be something you would like to look into as well. And last but not least, to me, is really about the open and honest communication that really helps create the trusting relationship between the two of us. And with that trusting relationship, it then allows us to bring our conversation to the next level. So I'll stop there, and I will invite my mentor, Walter, to join in to share his experience and his story in the mentoring program. Walter, would you like to join from the video as well? We can't hear you, Walter.
I'm still a newbie, in this kind of thing. I forgot to unmute myself. How about now? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was listening to Van, and I thought we would get some more stories, but then she switches on to me already right away. So that's, let me just, let's see if this is a bit better. Okay, there we go. So Van, really happy to join you and all of you in this webinar, and thanks for introducing this topic. I'm really excited about it. And Van, what would you like to ask me? Where would you like me to start?
Guess you can start off maybe from, I guess I already introduced how we met, so it would be interesting to hear from your side of story, how our relationship started, and then following on that is some of the highlights, the mentoring relationship, and also what do you think made it a successful or a memorable one. So 3 points, Coach.
Okay, thanks. I have to admit to you something. When you share this way, all of us have some things that we are very confident about, but also some things that we're not so confident yet. So I'm still learning to talk into that camera and imagine that I'm actually really in the same room with you. So that's something that I'm working on. And I am really in the same room with you, and I'm really happy with that. So maybe Van, just a few sentences to introduce for those of you, and many of you I haven't met yet. So I've been working in water management, as you are now, for quite a long time. Actually, I started in the early 80s, so you can add up and see how many years is that. And a few years ago, I decided to complete my work as a water specialist with the Asian Development Bank, having worked all over Asia, and to focus actually on some topics that some of you have mentioned in the chat box, which is about developing your confidence, developing your leadership skills. And that's also actually a topic that Van and I share an interest in. So now moving to my mentoring relationship with Van. I think the time that Brian requested me if I would be willing to have a mentee from his program was really one of my lucky days. It's an example, and I've had other examples before of mentoring relationships. It's an example that worked out particularly well. And I'd like to actually mention three words, three concepts, three contexts perhaps, to talk about it. The first one is what Van already mentioned. It's about trust. So I understand that you have an agreement. Actually, Van and I didn't have a written agreement, I think, but we made it up as we went. But certainly one of the things we started with was confidentiality, to keep things that we discuss in confidence. And that's very important to develop trust. So trust is my first point. The second one, so meaning to say that without trust, you cannot really develop a productive mentoring relationship. And in just a while, I want to come back to that and say trust is not just a one-time step. The second one is curiosity. I think to have a productive mentoring relationship, both sides have to have curiosity. So curiosity in your own career, and I think all of you have already shared that in the chat box where you want to go, and that you're really keen to discover more. It's also, I think, curiosity from the mentor side in what the mentee wants to do, what's the career plan, what are things that are just around the corner and that can be discovered and can be started but aren't quite there yet. So there's always that curiosity of the possibilities, the opportunities. And that brings me to my third word. And the third word is potential. So I believe if you start a mentoring relationship, there's a huge potential. And of course, you have to step-by-step work towards unlocking that. Now, let me come back to this trust. I think, as Van said, we seem to hit it off well at the beginning. We found a way of trusting that was quite natural. Now, we didn't stop there. I think the power of what we experienced in our mentoring relationship is that we kept expanding that trust. We built on it. What does that mean? I think what it means is, for me, that once you develop more trust and you decide also to give more trust, then you can follow that up with actions. Actions between your mentoring sessions that help. From the mentor side, from my side also, I think taking a new view on things, learning from Van as a mentee, how she looks at her career, how she looks at her job, and all the things she learned. There's a tremendous amount of things to learn from the young professionals. Okay, so now by taking action and Van illustrated how she kept track of things, what she learned, what she did, how she used the resources that we talked about. That helped her further, and I was very keen to hear that. But it also helped me further because she shared a lot of insights about what she thinks about leadership development, and particularly what young and emerging professionals need in terms of their leadership development. So the third level of trust was actually, which I believe is available in a mentoring relationship, is when we actually started working together. That's a part-time relationship. She finished her studies, she did several steps. She has now several jobs. And one of those is to work together. We made an arrangement for that. And I guess we never thought of that when we started a mentoring relationship first. But by expanding our trust step by step, and by daring to be curious and exploring potential, we stepped into new spaces of cooperation. And that's where I feel that mentor and mentee have a possibility. Maybe not every relationship can go that far, but to develop a kind of cooperation. So what could that be? That can be about inspiration for you to do something new, get guidance there in that. I think another aspect is the accountability, that in a mentoring relationship you can stimulate each other and hold each other a bit accountable. And the third one is the level of cooperation, where you actually decide to explore doing something together. So very exciting relationship, and I'm really happy to see where Van has gone since we started already 2 years ago. We have no plans to stop. There's a lot of things that we can do together, as we have discovered. And I also want to acknowledge Van for leading and convening this webinar, hosting it, and showing us what you can do as an emerging leader. And my final point would be to say that as a less young leader, we have got a lot to gain, and the world has a lot to gain when we listen to and work with emerging leaders. The head of ISEC, some of you may know what ISEC is, it's the largest young leaders organization in the world, told me last year, she's a lady from Colombia, she said, my problem in ISEC is not young leaders. And I said, so what's your problem? And she said, my problem is the less young leaders. How can we get them to open their doors and work more with us and listen to us and stimulate us and support us? So with that, I'd like to give it back to you, Van, and see if there are any questions where you want to take it from here. Very exciting. I'm really happy to have this opportunity. And that goes for all of you. I'd love to hear more about your plans and interested to see how we can come up with some concrete points to so that each of you can get some very concrete points to work with at the end of this webinar. Thank you, Van.
Thank you so much, Walter, for that. Now that's the first time that we hear this reflection as well, so that's very exciting for me too.
Yes, it is. Yes, yes. I think I was blushing when you told me, about your side of the story. And again, that's part of the power of a mentoring relationship.
Could not agree more. Great. Thank you so much for that, Coach.
Welcome.
Right. So I guess just to building up on the stories that we just shared with you, then I would probably really like to emphasize that we just giving a little bit of a tips from being a mentee myself. I think first thing is do some homework, prepare before the session to be clear on what you actually like to discuss with your mentor. I think that's very useful, and you'll get a lot more out of it when you're well prepared. And also take the initiative to contact the mentor. Sometimes they can be very busy, and then that could be something you can discuss at the beginning of your communication to see what type of communication they preferred. Was it through a formal email exchange, or can it be by Facebook Messenger, or can it be by chat on the Hangout? You have so many different platforms that you can use, and definitely maximize the use of that technology to best fit both of you. So I really strongly encourage you to make that clear with your mentor. And I guess from the mentor side of it, I would say that it's really important in the relationship, especially from working with Walter, and what allow us to really build up our relationship is really because Walter has allocated his time to me, and also he listened more than talk. That's also one of the things that I found very powerful, to have someone that actively listens to you, repeat it back, and making sure that he understands clearly what I'm talking about before we move on to further discussing on the particular topic. That's been very useful. And also for encouraging the mentee to be more accountable. A little push sometimes is quite helpful. I mean, I can be a bit laid back sometimes. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll do it later. But often because I feel accountable for what I committed to, and sometimes Walter would send me an email and said, oh, how are you going with that? And that nudge sort of gives me a hint that, hey, time to put your act together and start taking some action. So definitely encouraging a little bit of that accountability is great if we could have that from the mentors. And also ask powerful questions to motivate and also challenge the mentee to take the action, to also discover their potentials and then get out of their comfort zone. That's something that I find very useful. But by all means, I guess there's no magic tips in how to get the best outcome from the mentoring program. But really, it is about the two of you. And I guess just to summarize the tips on the mentoring program, I would like to really encourage you to try these 3 things on top of what both of us just shared with you. I think the first thing is really about the open and honest communication in order to build trust. And the second point is about active listening. Repeat back to make sure that you really understand each other and make sure that you're on the same page. And then the third point is to take the initiative and be accountable to what you committed to. This relationship only works if both sides put in the effort, and also it is about the dialogue and the collaboration. And I have to say as well that something that you might want to take into consideration right at the beginning of your relationship is also know when to get out. So you should agree among yourself when to stop or when to continue. And if there's any moment when you feel like you're not comfortable and you have doubt, make sure that you raise that with your mentor, and also the same goes with the mentor as well. If you have that feeling, make sure that you share that with your mentees. And if really you can't get into the conclusion of it, we are here to also support you. So feel free to contact me or anyone at the IRF team, and we're here to really supporting you. And also, last but not least, don't forget to celebrate together with the outcome and the result of anything that you committed to working on together. So I guess that's probably a bit of a tips that I would like to share with you. I also put up some of the resources for you to explore further if you would like to learn more about the mentoring program. The great news is we have plenty of time. So now I would like to move to our Q&A session. So the floor is open for any of you who would like to ask any questions, comments, feedback, anything. So just raise your hand if you want to come out and share with us if you have any questions or comments. Sally, yes?
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome. Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, go ahead.
Hello? Yeah, I just wanted to find out if all the points mentioned by Walter, is it should it be from the mentor or the mentee? How much percent of it should be from the mentor? And when you're talking about trust, curiosity, potential, should it come from the mentor or the mentee? And then if you're also talking about at a point in time when both of you are not meeting your expectations, what should one do? Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for that. I'll give it my comments and then I'll ask Walter to join in. To me, I think it's really equally important that both sides put in pretty much equal effort. And I can say from my side that I really try to take advantage of this mentoring program by trying to ask so many questions and taking to so many initiatives to get into the goal, if you like, that I would like to achieve in this mentoring program. So it's not just waiting for Walter to offer me opportunities, but also taking equal efforts into approaching him and trying to get into building that curiosity and then the potential itself. So I would say it's equally from both sides. How about you, Walter?
Hi. The question was from Sally, right? Did I get that right? Okay. So,
Yeah.
so Sally, that's a great question. Actually, two great questions. And I would agree. In fact, I thought of the same thing as Van mentioned. I think it's 50-50. It's, why is it 50-50? Because it's a relationship between two human beings. And we have to build that together. Each side has to make it happen. And now that's not always without problem. And sometimes you may not be sure or confident about how it's going. And in that situation, I think it is very important, particularly if you're not meeting in person, if your mentor is somewhere else, that if you have an impression, like you might think, oh, my mentor doesn't have enough time, or he or she doesn't understand me, or didn't respond really what I needed to my question. So what we do in such situations is often to jump to a conclusion, right? That's what human beings do a lot. So I think in a mentoring relationship, to keep it going, it's very important to suspend any judgment and just use your tool of asking each other questions. And particularly open questions can be very helpful. I think the mentee can ask open questions and the mentor as well. So the tips apply to both, I think 50-50. And secondly, if something is not resolved or not so clear, don't jump to conclusion, but rather ask questions and get it clarified. And that helps again to give that trust another boost. Because trust is not like once you build it and it's always there. No, it can go up and down. Because our brains work in ways that let our trust go up and down. So when you feel a bit less clear, then use questions to get back into clarity and open yourself up to the possibility that it might be another problem than you think. How does that help?
Thanks, Walter. Did we answer your question, Sally? Great, thank you. Anyone else would like to join in? Yes, Likando? Likando? Problem with microphone. All right. Anyone else might have some questions? Any comments or feedback? Welcome as well. I guess while we're waiting, oh yes. Okay, we have one more. Go ahead, Mahmood.
Hi, Mahmoud again. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. My question is like, what steps can we take to build the trust at the beginning, and what should we, how should we continue the trust building? Yeah, that's my question. First, building the trust,
Just
and then continue.
steps to build the trust. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So what steps to build the trust and to continue building that? Right. Ooh, that's a tough one. I guess for me, the steps I take in building that trust is really being very open right at the beginning about what I'm actually hoping to get out of the mentoring relationship, and also being more open about myself as a person as well, my communication style, my personality, what I like. It doesn't have to always be about the serious topic all the time, because before you can get into the serious discussion, if you like, in terms of the career development and all that, it's helpful when you actually know the person as who they are, their interests, their characters, their personality. So all those things actually help. So for me, I'm quite open to Walter since the first communication about things that I like to do, about my family, because we already agree right at the beginning that everything we will discuss in our conversation and our exchange, either emails, face-to-face, on the telephone, or any sort, it will be confidential, and it will only be between two of us. So having that clear understanding right up front, it's already allowing me to then share with him about all the things that's going on, like my family, information about my personality and all type, before we then get into a more serious topic of, okay, what would you like to do in the future? What sort of career you want to develop yourself into? So that would be the step that I take at the beginning. And then how do I continue building on that? It's really, again, the open communication. So every time, it's not that our relationship is always go up, but there is also up and down. So there are times when we get into the point where we also feel like, oh, this is a bit stiff. And that's when I took the courage, because, I also feel like, oh, he's very senior. I don't really know how to approach him appropriately. So it's also about the courage in stepping up and then said, look, I feel like there's something going on here that we're not quite on the same page. Is it right that what I'm seeing now is this way of the development, or did I misunderstanding something? So take that courage to open up and then approach your mentor on what you feel that is not right. It's also one step that I have taken to then be able to clear up any misunderstanding, and from that allowing us also to reflect on our relationship and realize that if it's right for us to continue or not. Walter, you have further suggestions on that?
Hi, Van. Thank you. I think you shared a lot of valuable stuff there, and I agree with all of that. And the point that I wanted to make is one that Likando has just typed in the box, in the chat box as well. It's about looking at your future career, at where you're going. So there may be things that you want to raise in your mentoring relationship that are very current, very at the moment, like you have to make a choice. How should you make that choice? Maybe a career choice, or it may be a choice in the organization that you're working. Should you take on a new project? So there may be some immediate things, and mentoring can help in that. And there may also be some really knowledge stuff, like some of you asked at the beginning, I want to know something more about river management. I want to know what's the best approach in a particular situation. So these are things that are kind of immediate, but there's also where you're going. And I think that where you're going is the space that you can open up to talk about, that is very often helps to build trust. When you talk about things that are immediate, sometimes you can exchange views, and sometimes the views, you come to the same view or a new understanding or an agreement, but sometimes not, because that's what we human beings do. We don't always agree with each other. So in such a situation, opening the space to what's coming up and how you can explore that together is, I think, one of the important trust builders. So I'd like to suggest that you try sometimes in a situation to ask, I'm not sure how to do something, but how can we get there? How can I get there? Or how can we discuss this together to help me move forward? So you open it from the I space to the we space. And that's, I think, a very empowering point in a mentoring relationship. And I think that's what Van mentioned about some of the cases that she highlighted in her experience. So Van, how is that?
Definitely. Thank you very much, Coach, for sharing that. Likando, did we answer your question at all? I actually have another exercise that I've done that is quite useful as well. So if you email me later on, I'll be able to share with you that exercise that might help you further in prioritizing your mentoring needs, if you like. Right, so that's great. So I also want to come back to Walter's question on the chat box as well to hear more about the story from other people on how are you preparing for your mentoring. Anyone would like to share on that? Yes, Mitch.
Hi, Juan.
Hi, Mitch.
I get preparing for my mentoring. I guess I contacted my mentor. We've discussed what might work, what I'm interested in gaining. So personally, I've find those elements that in my career pathway that aren't quite certain, so that they can accurately address those. Sorry, I've been asked to speak up a bit.
Yes, I was going to ask that too.
Okay, I'll start again. I was just sitting a bit further away from the microphone, that's all. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay, I can. Much better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my approach is to highlight the areas in my career that I'm kind of looking forward for help from my mentor. My position is unique because being a PhD candidate, I already have 2 mentors, that being my supervisory team. So I'm trying to find elements that are unique to my mentors' capabilities and how they can, what niche they can fill in my needs. We've done this through discussion. Yeah.
So you already have your first contact with your mentor?
Just through email at the moment, but we've scheduled our first conversation, teleconference, in a week's time.
That's great. So any other things you would like to share with our group in terms of what you have done to be more prepared in your teleconference coming up?
I guess it's reflecting on where I am now in my career and making sure that I'm honest with where I am and accept that, and then to see where I want to be so that I can, we can fill in the gaps between now and then.
So is it the specific area or aspect you are looking in this mentoring program relationship is more on your career path? Is that right?
Yeah, there's 2 elements, I guess. There's my mentor has a specific experience in stakeholder engagement, so that's a knowledge-based field that I'd like advice on. Navigating, well, I guess let's just call it diplomacy, but then there's also creating a personal profile, and they're the elements that I'd like to hear the mentor suggest what they would have done in their time or what they did in their time, and how I can best enact a plan to meet my requirements.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that.
No worries. Thanks, Juan.
Thanks, Mitch. Anyone else? Can we hear from our friend from Europe, Maria? You able to join us by voice? Great. Please come in, Maria.
No.
Hi.
It's been raining the whole day.
Hello?
Here, so I couldn't go.
Can you hear me?
Oh, we have 2 people at the same time.
Okay.
Oh,
Which one? I can hear Maria, but who's the other person? I couldn't figure out. Is that Sally?
Okay.
Oh, okay. So Sally, you wanna go after Maria?
no, go ahead. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sally, please go ahead.
And please, I want to take the pen.
Yes, please go ahead. That's all right. You want to have a go, or you want to join in a bit later? All right, no worries. So we'll come back to Sally in a minute. So Maria, would you like to join in now?
Yeah. Hey. First of all, I would like to thank you.
I'm having
Me?
a class.
Yes, we can hear you.
What is it?
Great. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing your side of the story. That was really good to hear. And for me, what I would like to get out of it more is like to to know how to better structure my thoughts also. Like, for example, what you said, Wouter, from moving from the I to the we and doing asking open questions. I would like to learn more how to do these kind of things about mentoring and coaching skills. And yeah, maybe also like becoming a mentor sometime myself. I would like to do that. But before I have to go through that for myself. And yeah, like also learning about leadership, networking skills also has been mentioned. And also what you said, Fan, about not knowing where you want to go, having doubts, not being sure, yeah. I think that kind of applies to me myself now because I'm at the end of my master's and I'm thinking about where I want to work and how and what would fit best for me. So I'm hoping to reflect on that with my mentor and being able to discuss that. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks very much, Maria, for sharing that. Yes, we can be in a turning point, definitely. And I also want to encourage you as well that don't limit yourself to just one mentor. Reach out to many more as well if you like. And we are all here in the same page, and we all pretty much go through the same situation at some stage if you like. And if there is anywhere that I could also support you in any way, please feel free to contact me anytime as well.
Thank you.
So love to share what I have gone through and how I deal with that as well. And if that could be useful to you, more than happy to support you in that. Also, you have any further suggestions for Maria?
Hi, Juan. I was just clicking the unmute button when you asked me that, so we had the same thought. Yes, Maria, thank you very much. And also, Mitch, you earlier mentioned about having 2 mentors already and looking for an additional one. And Van just mentioned, you don't have to have just one mentor in your life. In fact, this goes very much, has to do with building up your network. So mentoring also takes time. It takes time on both sides, and you'll find out that not everybody can mentor you on everything. So it's good to build up a network and select what the particular person can help you with. At least you start there, and then maybe you discover they can help you with more as well. So that came up in the earlier discussion with Mitch as well. Some experts you want to get mentoring for, they may have a specific niche of stakeholder collaboration or particular type of modeling you want to use for your water resource management. Or maybe it's more in your soft skills that several of you have mentioned about communication, speaking, knowing where you want to go, building up your network. So think variety and think that asking people to mentor you can be a great step to build your network. You're not going to build your career by yourself. We really can become much better professionals if we have a strong network. And in the time that I started, I was pretty much limited to people who were in my direct environment because even telephone calls cost so much at that time. But nowadays we're almost unlimited in finding people around the world. We just have some issue with time zones sometime, and this issue of how to build trust when you are not in the same room. But go for it. Look for variety. Look for different areas that help you build your career, and then look for somebody who can help you and go from there.
Thank you, Walter. Now, if I can invite Beta to join us, share, give us some of your lovely voice, that would be nice.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, yes, I can. Okay, hello everybody. So I guess the question was, how are we preparing ourselves for mentoring, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
I expect us the mentoring program. So yeah, so maybe I'll start with background. So I'm in a situation quite similar to it. I still have over 8 years to go before I'm graduated. I also kind of dilemma. How do I prioritize and how do I actually make the most of the program where I don't have rigid questions kind of refer to my so what I did preparing for is that I prepared a list of questions that I have. Of course, these were very general questions.
Sorry, Beta, to interrupt. Can you get closer to your microphone, please?
I'm pretty much as close as possible. I can try to speak up.
Oh.
Is it any better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is much better.
Where was I? Yes. So when I was preparing for my first for my first conversation with my mentor, I made a list of questions that I had. These were basically very general questions. As I mentioned, I'm still like trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. So yes, I hope that going from that point with those general questions, as the time goes by, I will have more specific questions. So yeah.
Great. So you already have a contact with your mentor?
Yes, we had one
already. Great. And do you have any other questions for Walter? I'm putting him on spot now.
Well, my question would be because I've never had experience before with mentoring program. I did have a coach, and I'm wondering what are maybe different. I imagine that mentor is not supposed to, for example, ask me questions to guide me on my career path, but maybe I'm mistaken. So that would be my question.
Excellent question. Thank you. Thank you for that. Walter, need your help on this, please.
Hello. How do I pronounce your name again? Beata? Beta? Beata. Okay. Beata. All right. Thank you. So that's a super question. And I'm happy to hear that you already have some experience with a coach. So some people say that mentoring is really uses a different technique, more the mentee asking questions and then the coach talking a lot. That's I think the traditional pattern of many mentoring discussions. And that can have huge value, because if you want to ask the mentor for his or her experience on a particular point, then you be as specific as you can, you invite, you show your interest, and then you sit back and you listen for a while, right? That's how it goes. But then I think that's really only one part of mentoring, because for an effective relationship, we need to discover each other. We need to discover each other in the relationship, what's most important. So a coaching style can also come in and be very helpful. And I'd like you to think of it as having a toolbox. So when you do your mentoring, you don't have only one tool of asking questions and listening to your mentor, But you can also play around with more tools. You can ask your mentor, if your mentor talks a lot, then you can find a way to share what you want to share and then ask his feedback on that. So in a good relationship of mentoring, you need more than one tool, and sometimes there can be listening and talking on both sides. I believe both of them are very very valuable. So there's not just one way of having a mentoring conversations. There can be more, and that again, maybe you start in a more planned manner, well organized. You come with a question and then you listen to the mentor. But as you build your trust and as you open that space for conversation, try more ways and come to the point where you're really talking as two human beings, not just as two water experts or one emerging expert and one less young expert or more experienced expert. Bring that human aspect in it, because many topics in your career development are not only technical, they always have other dimensions as well. So once you have built some trust, you can start to bring those in as well. I think that's what Van also mentioned when she told her story. Beata, just...
Thank you, Walter, for that. Beata, does that help a little bit? Yes, great, thank you. Anslin, you have a question?
Hello, can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yes.
Okay. So hi, I'm Aislinn. How do you know if the relationship, the mentoring program has been successful for both parts, the mentor and the mentee?
Thank you for that question. So I guess I'll start off from my own experience then. So when I first start communicating with Walter, so I have my own sort of objective, if you like, what I would like to get out of it. I can't really remember exactly how we started now, but I think one of the objectives was to give me a bit more of the directions in terms of opportunities out there in the water sector. And I think at that time I was focused on the topic of my thesis. That's it. I think that was one of the main objectives that we started it. So I was trying to get some more guidance and some more feedback into my thesis topic, because I would like to use my thesis topic as an entry point into my career as well, not just to finish my master. And then when I was starting to develop that thesis topic, I was then going backward and forward with Walter to get his feedback as well, to see if that would then in line or allow me to then enter into the water sector or any sector that I would like to work in. What are the opportunities and limitations in doing the thesis in particular topic? And he was really able to then give me further guidance into looking beyond just one aspect or one lens, if you like. And therefore, my topic also then allow me to if you like, enrich that focus. So instead of me looking into just water sector, I was then I was then open myself into a bigger challenge, and by combining the water and then the energy aspect into it. And if it was not because of the mentoring relationship, it could have been that I might just end up with just one single focus rather than expand my opportunities in looking into other sector, which also then lead into more opportunities for the career path using the thesis as an entry point. So for me, if I go back and measure that, what is my objective, whether I reach that or not, that's how I could then be able to get back and say, yes, it was successful for me, because I was able to achieve what I set out at the beginning of the relationship. So I guess to summarize that would be that have a clear objective in what you would like to achieve in order for you to be able to come back and say whether that's a successful achievement or not. How about you, Walter?
Hi, Van.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. And that question comes from Aislinn, right? Aislinn,
Yes.
and you're also in the Philippines. I'm in the Philippines too. So great to have somebody in the same country on the line. And maybe we should contact each other, and feel free to do so since we are both here. And I also understand that Mark is the other person who is a mentor, a very experienced water professional. So I wonder if he also had a perspective on this question as well. So Van, I agree with the points you mentioned, and I have one additional point there is to clarify whether it's successful for both sides. You can do that in different ways. You can do it by writing, for example, sending each other an email, so outside the conversation, but in another way, using another medium. But you can also do it, bring it up in the conversation. And then, of course, like Van said, having some clarity about the goals on each side, also on the mentor side, and the goals and expectations helps to then discuss it. And I think having such a discussion is perhaps not an everyday discussion, so it's a good challenge to create that kind of conversation where you can talk about it being effective on both sides. But again, sometimes you don't have to just do it through conversation. You can also support it, for example, by an email to set up the conversation and to exchange your view there as well. How does that help? Aislinn, does that help you? What do you think?
Yes, thank you for your insights, Van and Walter.
You're welcome. And I also like to invite Mark to join us as well. Mark,
Yeah, I agree with Walter. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I do agree with Walter as well. It's part of that open and honest relationship. So success can be seen as something that happens. You might be talking about a particular topic, and if you feel you're getting nowhere, just be open and honest enough to say, well, hang on, Mark, I don't really understand that. Can we go back through it again? Or maybe I'm talking too much, or there's something lost in translation. So it's about just nailing every little, I guess, discussion along the way, rather than just sort of letting it roll through and the mentee saying, oh, that's okay, I understand that, but you really don't quite get it, or you feel the relationship isn't quite working. Because for the mentor also, it can be difficult as well. So it's good just to be open as you go right through the whole program. And also, you may or may not want to do, I don't know, every couple of months, just have a sit down and reflect on how things are going. It could, I don't know, could be a little questionnaire or something, not sure. We could work that out as you go. But they're just some thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you for the insights, Mark. Right, looking at the time, it's ticking away very quickly. I would like to continue on, but I know that a lot of us probably getting hungry now. So I guess I'll leave it for now for the Q&A. And finally, I really like to thank you, each of you, and special thanks to Walter for joining us today. And I'm really appreciate all the insights, the thoughts, and the questions that you give to us, and also the engagement for the webinar today. So thank you so much, everyone. I also would like to remind you quickly as well that if you haven't joined any of our social media, and if you want to keep in touch with the bigger group, then here's all the detail right at the front page. So thank you, everyone. And maybe we might give it a try to turn on our webcam so that we would get to see each other on the final session before we say goodbye. How about that? So this is me.
Hello there. Hello again. That was great. Thank you so much, Van.
Yay, we can see
All
Mitch.
of you.
Anyone else able to join us on the video? Like to see your face.
Hi, Aislinn. Hi, Mitch.
Hi, everyone.
Woohoo, this is exciting.
Hello, Beata.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Hey.
Wonderful technology. We can see each other.
Woohoo, is it cold, Mark? You look so cold there.
Hi, Mark. Unmute your mic.
Hi.
Okay.
This is Mahmood.
Hello.
Waving, turning on that mic.
All right, we'll say goodbye now. Thank you so much, everyone. Oh, no, we have some more. Likando. Yay, we can see Mahmood. Excellent.
Hi.
All right.
Hello, Mahmoud.
Good to see you all. Thank you.
Likando,
Best
where are
wishes,
you?
It's been a,
best wishes for Ramadan, Mahmoud.
yeah, thank you for that.
All right, I would like to then ask everyone to give yourself a round of applause. You finally make it for your Sunday weekend, Sunday, spending time empowering yourself on moving to the next step. So congratulations, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your program.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We'll
Van.
be in
Thank you,
touch
everyone.
again. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Happy Father's
Thanks,
Day.
everyone. Bye. Happy Father's Day.